Britain's Prince Andrew. The documents are from a 2015 civil lawsuit filed by one of Epstein's victims. The names of people who were sexually abused by Epstein as children will remain private. Epstein died in prison in 2019 while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges.
Joining us now, Harvard Law professor Alan Dershowitz. Professor, you are mentioned in this document. You are mentioned repeatedly and very specifically. It was the allegation against you was that Epstein forced then minor Jane Doe number 3 to have sexual relations with you, and that also you were an eyewitness to sexual abuse of other minors by Epstein. You have been out there vigorously defending your name, your honor, and denying these allegations fiercely. And I want to give you a chance now that it's come out in writing tonight to get your reaction.
Well, first of all, the woman who accused me has now stated categorically that she may have misidentified me, confused me with someone else. And these documents, if all the documents are revealed, will prove categorically that she did misidentify me, that I never met her, never heard of her, never spoke to her. And I can prove it by independent means. I have all my travel records. I have all my television appearances. I can prove that I couldn't possibly have been anywhere near any of the people who were involved in this. I was Epstein's lawyer. Of course I flew on his plane with Ken Starr, with Roy Black, with other lawyers. We flew to meetings with the U.S. attorney, with the state attorney. And so people have to be very careful about what they're believing and when it happened. For example, as soon as Epstein was shown to be what he was, I ended my personal association with him completely, but I maintained a legal relationship with him. I represented some of the worst people in the world and continue to do so. That's my life. And of course, I represented Epstein. Now, the one point I do want to make is that I understand all the feminist groups and the radicals who think this is the worst thing in the world, that anybody ever had any contact with Jeffrey Epstein. Where are all those radical feminists when it comes to the Hamas rapes of young Jewish girls, sexual abuse, beheadings? They are quiet. They are silent. The incredible hypocrisy of the Me Too movement. Me Too, except if you're a Jew. If I want to have a list of all the radical feminists who are pushing hard, and I understand that, to get all these names revealed, and I want to know how many of them have ever actually condemned Hamas for the rapes that we now know occurred and the murders that occurred, how many have been silent, and how many, like the National Lawyers Guild, have actually approved of what Hamas did. So let's.
I wasn't expecting Dershowitz to go in on the Jews. Good evening, everyone. I wasn't expecting him to go in on me too. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another exciting edition of Random Topic Thursdays, the hottest live stream in the cosmos of social media, ladies and gentlemen. And I am joined, as always, in a brand new year. It is the first Thursday of 2024, and I'm joined by my friend and colleague, fellow YouTuber, Mr. Shawn James, author of The Man Crisis and the John Haynes series, The Man with Nothing to Lose. Good evening, Shawn. How are you?
Good evening, Gavin. How are you?
Yeah, that was hot and heavy. I was just showing news clips, and it went through everything, and damn, I didn't even get to do the intro or something. Teflon Dershowitz. You saw that. So we'll just get right into it since I got you on. But first, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to do me a favor. I need you to smash up the likes, hit the notification bell, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And you can drop a gift. You can hit the Cash App, the PayPal, Zelle, or Google Pay. And yeah, let's get into it. So, Shawn, the big news, obviously, today, the Jeffrey Epstein documents were unsealed and some names were dropped. Some of the names are those of celebrities that we already knew of, as well as politicians. For instance, Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew were names we had already heard. And there are also some additional names. If you go here on the Independent, and I'll show you all. And we can get back to playing that video. That was Alan Dershowitz, whose name was dropped. He was going in. So I'm going to go back and play that. Of course, fair use, by the way. I don't want Fox News to make a copyright claim, but if you look, this is a whole list of names that have been dropped so far. They have Prince, of course, we mentioned Prince Andrew, Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Blanchett, Naomi Campbell, Sharon Churcher, David Copperfield, Leonardo DiCaprio, Cameron Diaz, Glenn and Ava Dublin, Daniel Estes, Amy Farmer, Louis Freach, Tony Figueroa, Crystal Figueroa, Meg Garvin, I don't even know who that is, Al Gore, former Vice President, Dr. Carol Hayek, Shannon Harrison, Stephen Hawking, Michael Jackson, Brett Jaffe, Forrest Jones, Sarah Kellen, Carol Kess. And to be clear, it's my understanding, just to clarify, these are the 100, this is just those that are linked to Jeffrey Epstein. It doesn't mean that they did, doesn't indicate any wrongdoing or any part. Some of the people could have flew on his jet, which has happened, right? Some of them could, and some could have visited his island. Of course, we don't know for sure what happened. They just list their names, but they're listed. They have Bill Richardson, Sky Roberts, Kimberly Roberts, Kevin Spacey, Joanna Solberg, who accused Prince Andrew of groping her. Also, she claims she was underage when she was assaulted by Epstein. Kevin Thompson, Donald Trump. Of course, Trump was mentioned. In fact, in one video, Bruce Willis is also mentioned. One video I saw that Donald Trump actually kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his Mar-a-Lago resort because he made a pass at an underage girl, according to reports that I saw. Ed Tuttle, Daniel Wilson, Mark Zeeb, some of these people I don't even know. But David Copperfield is a big one. David Copperfield made everything, should be mad at David Copperfield because he would have made everything disappear. But this is one list. Now I want to go back to the Alan Dershowitz, I guess, video. Can we play that again? And just listen to him going scorched earth on this.
Let's put this in context. I'm thrilled that all these papers have come out. I urged them. I went to court. I asked for everything to come out because I knew that I had done nothing wrong and the papers would exculpate me. What I only worry about is that maybe the judges withheld certain documents. I want to make sure every single document comes out, including the documents that cast doubt on the credibility of some of the accusers and some of the accused. The public has the right to see everything and make their own judgment. We do not put the country at guilt by accusation or guilt by association.
But by the way, I think that is fair. And I still, like you, believe that in the presumption of innocence. And I don't rush to judgment. And frankly, on many high-profile cases in this country, this show, starting with Richard Jewell, we've been right. We were right about Duke Lacrosse. We were right about
Al Gore is separated. Al and Tipper Gore have been separated for over 13 years. A lot of people don't know that. I didn't know that.
UVA. We were right about Ferguson, Missouri, and Freddie Gray in Baltimore because I didn't rush to judgment.
No, you weren't.
And I had impeccable sources. I have known you for years. I don't really know why you like to defend these high-profile clients. Everybody certainly deserves a defense, including Mr. Epstein, including O.J. Simpson, and you and I had wars over Bill Clinton back in the day.
Sure.
You've taken on these high-profile cases.
FYI, he wouldn't be so nice if Dershowitz hadn't gone right. If you dig my meaning, huh? Dershowitz has gone conservative in the last few years. So
why? And do you regret it at all? And did you ever see anything untoward about Mr. Epstein?
I never did. And I do regret having ever met Jeffrey Epstein because it caused me the worst few years of my life when I was falsely accused and I was canceled by the 92nd Street Y, canceled by Temple Emmanuel. And then she ultimately admitted that she may have confused me with someone else. And so, you know, things obviously have gotten a lot better. Now, of course, these revelations put my name in the headlines again. But I've never been afraid of that because I have nothing to be afraid of, nothing to be ashamed of. I did nothing wrong. Would I do it again? Not if I knew I was going to be falsely accused, but if not for that, I've represented far worse people. I've represented murderers. I've represented people who have done terrible, terrible things. That's an essential part of our system. If I don't do it, who will? I had tenure. I had an obligation to defend the most controversial, the worst people. Sometimes I won, sometimes I lost, sometimes I created a plea bargain like I did in this case. By the way, Epstein was furious at me for the plea bargain. He wouldn't pay my fee because he thought I had done a terrible job because he ended up going to jail and having to report as a sex offender. The rest of the world thought it was a sweetheart. But that's what criminal defense lawyers do. I'm 85 years old. I hope the good Lord gives me the strength to continue to represent the most despised, the most controversial, the most unpopular people in the world. Look at the hell I got for representing Donald Trump. I did that and I lost a lot of my friends. And people say to me all the time, oh, I understand Epstein, but not Trump. Or I understand Trump, but not Epstein. You have to understand that the role of the criminal defense lawyer is to defend everybody who's falsely accused.
Well, I'll say this.
Accused or even truthfully accused. Yeah.
I think you're going to be the only one that does have the courage to say, no, it's not true. And you do make a good point. If there's exculpatory information that is not released as part of the information that is being given out by the judge, I think that's unfair to everybody, and that would be unfair to you. And if you believe it's exculpatory, I think the public should see that as well. Professor, thank you.
I don't need any more exculpatory material. Just the woman has already admitted that.
Shawn?
Yeah.
What do you think of the Epstein list so far? What do you see?
Well, this looks like something that was said in the Bible. What's done in the dark is coming to the light. And what's coming to the light is we're learning a lot about some people who were so-called prominent and learning that they've got some graveyards that are filled with skeleton bones. That's what this Epstein list is all about. And that's why they wanted to keep it buried. They didn't want people to find out the horrible truth about some of our most prominent Americans being caught up in alleged sexual deviancy, because this basically exposes a lot of these so-called prominent people for being actual hypocrites, because a lot of these same people, they stand up on moral high horses, especially regarding Black people. And these are the same people who, while they talk all this stuff about morals and values and being right, we find out that they've got some skeleton bones in their graveyard. And this graveyard is filled with all of the debauchery and deviancy that a lot of these people try to keep buried in order to have their smooth world. And it's just, again, more of the same dysfunctional behavior I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And what we're seeing now is a crisis regarding these prominent men and women that shows that these people really, while we consider them the best of the society, were participating in the worst of behavior. And this is sadly par for the course when it comes to America, because America's had these skeleton bones buried for centuries. I mean, it's ingrained in the country. You've got people like Epstein all around promoting this type of debauchery. But now we're seeing more and more people standing up against it and standing up against this type of just plain old perversion, because that's what it is. We've got rich people participating in perversion and deviancy. And this whole culture needs to be exposed to show people who these monsters truly are.
Indeed. And there are a bunch of celebrities here, and a caution, obviously, just because you associate with Epstein doesn't mean that, of course, you engage in any activity he did per se. But a lot of people, when you are connected with somebody who is so infamous for doing the most dastardly things, that's part of that happens. Misery loves company is the old saying. So this full list that we see here, is coming out. And, he supposedly killed himself in his jail cell. I doubt that. I think he was murdered.
They killed him to keep him from talking.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my personal opinion. I believe that millions of other people even believe that, especially when you have royalty on this list. I'm not to say that Prince Andrew had Jeffrey Epstein killed. I wouldn't say that because I don't know that for a fact. But you can think things, and I think I'll just put it this way: powerful people set him up to be killed. That's what I believe. I want to know what's on the videotapes with underage girls confiscated from Epstein's NYC home. I'm not concerned about the flight luggage. Yeah, I mean, Alan Dershowitz is his lawyer. So, yeah, I can expect if he's his attorney, naturally speaking, would he be on a flight log? Yeah. That doesn't surprise me. So, speaking of which, Shawn, I guess I can get into my next topic. So they're going to be doing a full dump list of names, of more information that's going to be released. Of course, some documents that aren't going to be released or anything that's involving minors, their names are going to be blocked out for obvious reasons. But I got to talk about this topic tying in. One of the names I don't want to say he was on here, but Katt Williams said that the Chris Tucker we need from Friday is no longer it's the Chris Tucker from Epstein Island. And I'm asking you, I wanted to talk with you about this because I shared the video with you, the link, and I was saying, we got to talk about this tonight because this is the thing that's been tearing up the internet about Katt Williams going scorched earth on comedians and celebrities. And you hit me up and said, dude, this is over 2.5 hours long. Talking about the Shannon Sharpe interview that he did. But I got to ask you, first off, I said, well, look, why don't you just listen to the best parts of it because it's broken up in video parts. And I was going to ask you if you had a chance to listen to some of it.
I listened to most of it.
You listened to most of it. Okay, which parts, just curious, did you listen to his breakdown of Martin Lawrence as well as his stuff he had to say on Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer?
I got on the Steve Harvey, all that stuff, and part, I think, of Martin Lawrence. I got up to the point where I forget what he was talking about, but it was about the 2-hour mark.
Okay. I was watching it when it dropped, and it already has last time I checked, it was over 4 million views. So Shannon Sharpe said he was going to start 2024 with a bang. He certainly did. I mean, and Katt Williams left no stone unturned. But sorry, I was texting somebody. Yeah, Katt Williams left no stone unturned, right? Well, let me ask you your opinion, Shawn, in listening to it. And I can play the audio. I don't want to get a copyright strike, but I wanted to ask you, obviously, from what you heard, what you thought of it. But before I do that, let me so we can play an audio of it. I'm going to play the part Katt Williams was talking about. I mean, he went in on everybody. Ricky Smiley mentioned Chris Tucker, Steve Harvey. This was the stuff he had to say about Steve Harvey. Hold on. I'm going to just play the audio for y'all. But yeah, y'all just listen to this.
The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he wear a suit. And then he gets this high top fade, making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business. And it's a man unit. Then you ask him, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. No, you couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good over KB and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none. The same Steve.
That's the one that killed me. Steve Harvey looks like Mr. Potato Head. What your ass say? He also talked about Jonathan Majors.
My goal was to get this far in Hollywood and still have a virgin asshole. And never have sucked a penis. That was my only goal. I didn't want to get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan Majors. You gonna think I'm old, cat? Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not gonna act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends. And that's the truth of the matter. So I stayed away from that.
You see Jonathan Major, what he went through, Marvel dropped him as soon as the conviction came out. And you were telling
Hey, you saw that black woman come get his charge cut in half? Thank you, Megan Good. God bless you, coming to save that slave. If he'd had to be there by himself, he was getting all four. Guilty. She came in there, was just so beautiful. They had to knock half of it off. Bless his heart.
What do you think about this cancel culture? You see the situation with Jonathan Major. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I don't know if maybe he can bounce back in a couple of years, but man, he was hot. He was hot. He was cooking. I mean, you see him in Creed. He's in the Marvel movies, and then just like that.
Maybe I'm a conspiracy theory, but I thought Katt Williams said any time they make you into that position, part of that contract is you do understand whenever we want to take you down, we can, right? Part of giving you the world. First of all, they went around the world for 2 years straight telling any women that would listen that this was a good-looking Negro.
Mm-hmm.
Since when? When did y'all start liking a big nose? And when did y'all like a little head and a big jaw? When? Since when? That look like my daddy. When you start liking my daddy? You like black people's features like that? If this ugly nigga is good-looking, then all niggas is good-looking. Anytime you see them telling you something you can't believe, just understand it's a play. And it don't matter. You gonna know it's a play as soon as they get in that position and think they's gonna tell somebody something. No, you're not. No, you're not. Marvel will cancel you you won't be allowed to read a comic book. What are you talking about? Get out of here. Get out of here, ugly boy. Yeah, they love fooling the people.
Oh, man. I mean, he just went in and left no stone unturned about everybody. But the one I paid attention to was what he had to say about Martin Lawrence. Listen to this.
Martin tried to put me in my first dress. When he had to go on his hiatus, he tell me, Katt, when I come back, I need you. You my young partner. You my brother in comedy. When I come back, just promise me that my next movie, it'll be me and you. We're going to do it together. We're going to do some buddy cop shit. I said, Martin, you got my motherfucking word, my nigga. Go do what you got to do. When you come back, I'm in your movie. Don't trip. I don't need to see the script or nothing. You know, we get in that office and this fool pull out Big Mama's House 2. I almost died. And I got to read this script from all these good white people. Where this nigga want me to get in a dress with him. And I'm literally saying to everybody, why is he in a dress again? You already played the old lady as an FBI agent. We can play anything now. We can be playing a dog catcher this time. Why do we need to be in a dress? And I get so mad, I say, you don't want me. You want Brandon T. Jackson. And that's what they went and got. Twice I said it, they went and got him. Just like I'm telling you, I had that other dude's work. I had all of it. All I did was say, I want to punch it up so it's not offensive to real niggas. And that's how I got in this position.
I sure hope I have Club Shay Shay after this year.
It's going to be in a dimension it's never been.
Yeah, it's going to be.
The greatest thing floating in 2024. Mark the words. No way. In a whole different realm of business. Oh, we're coming next.
Yeah, he was too much. And a lot of people responded. I saw Ricky Smiley even respond to it. Kevin Hart in some way. I don't know about Steve Harvey. I was trying to listen to earlier to Ricky Smiley's morning show. But I did listen to some of it. He was trying to say, well, I didn't audition, I did audition for the Money Mike role, but I got, and he brought his co-signer on there to tell him, oh yeah, why don't you say this? But essentially it to me sounded like he was still affirming. He didn't deny what Katt Williams was saying. And as far as Cedric the Entertainer goes, he was calling out Cedric for stealing a joke. Now, I can tell you all, guys, joke thievery, stealing jokes, it happens a lot, especially if you have a younger comedian who is not known, do a joke that they may say at the comedy club. And let's just say, I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying this is true, but like D.L. Hughley walks in, or if you know D.L. Hughley, Cedric the Entertainer, or Craig Robinson, whoever you want to name. Carlos Mencia probably be the biggest one since he's a known joke thief. They hear a joke, they like and see it go over, they take it, and they may craft it and put it in their own way or their spin. That happens. Now, I don't steal jokes, but I've had situations, one situation in particular where one joke I did was similar to a joke a comedian heard. Now, I didn't think anything of it until he confronted me and told me about it in a friendly way, because he and I were cool. He confronted me about it. And I realized, perhaps my joke and what I did, yeah, it was a joke about Donald Trump, did sound similar. And I realized probably where the confusion from. So I retired that joke because he actually said it before I did. I had a joke I did about the price of gas. I said, and I have it, and I have proof I did it before this comedian. But me and Nate, and I'm real cool with him, Nature Boy. He and I did a joke. I did a joke about the price of gas. I said the price of gas is so high. Tom Brady had to come out of retirement just to pay for it. And I did this I was headlining at a spot, and I did this a month or two later. I'm at an open mic. Nature Boy is on, and he does that same joke. And I confronted him about it, but Nature Boy wasn't at the show I was doing, so I don't know how he did it. But it happens. It's just like playing music. You have songs. There's so many keys on a piano. There's so many chords you can play. There's a scale that you play on a piano. Some notes may sound like some notes in one song will sound like some notes in another song. It does happen. But outright thievery, like when you look at Amy Schumer or Carlos Mencia, and I gotta check and I gotta respond to something because Carlos Mencia actually went in saying he was on Def Comedy Jam and didn't get in and made a remark about I got a nigga telling me I'm being treated like a nigga. I don't know if y'all seen that video, but Shawn, I want to ask you because I'm talking too much. You saw the interview. I wanted to know what you think and your thoughts. Do you think there was some truth to what Katt Williams was saying, or do you think he was jealous? Tell me what you thought.
Well, I doubt he was jealous, but I do know he was possibly saying some truths about Hollywood because I've heard the same horror stories from multiple people. Now, as somebody who studied the
Saying some
entertainment
truth
industry
about
for over
Hollywood.
25 years, I can tell you a lot of what Katt Williams was saying about the skeleton bones behind the scenes. That's something that happens in Hollywood because there's a lot of dirty business under the table. And when it comes to the business of comedy, it's common for guys to go out here and steal your material. That's why a lot of guys keep their material close to the vest because when you are in this business and you start talking about stuff, yeah, somebody's gonna steal it because they're gonna try to steal it because they think if they think it's good, what they're gonna do is try to make it like they want to so that they can go out here and have something like a joke. Now, this also goes on with pitches and screenplays and material. If you put up a premise out here, somebody's definitely gonna try to steal it. And when it comes down to the deviant behavior, like the sodomy and the other stuff at the casting couch, yeah, that goes on. And there's a lot of dirty business that goes on in Hollywood. And that's why I wanted nothing to do with it because behind the scenes, there's a lot of stuff going on. People don't know what's going on. And a lot of the people you put up on pedestals, a lot of these celebrities, a lot of them have done some foul stuff to get ahead. Now, a lot of people have said stuff about Steve Harvey. I was doing a show with Mr. Chris on Chris and Company. We talked about Steve Harvey for a while, and he's known for being a very unsavory character in some circles as related to comedy and business. And what Katt Williams does is basically substantiate what Mr. Chris was telling me about Steve Harvey. So a lot of people have been saying some bad stuff about Steve Harvey and a lot of the other people he's been talking about. And a lot of the stuff he's talking about basically has been said by other people. And again, somebody who studied the entertainment industry, I can tell you, yeah, there's a lot of skeleton bones that people don't want revealed. And there's a lot of stuff people do to get jobs and parts you wouldn't want to know. And putting on a dress, yeah, that's something that they want to do as part of the humiliation ritual too, black men. That's something I even wrote about way back as far as 2010 about the entertain black men in dresses. That's something that's done. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Katt Williams basically substantiated that I've heard from in my years of research. So a lot of what he said is possibly true, and I would say true because it substantiates a lot of what I have heard. And a lot of what he said, basically, while he was spitting fire to some people. I've seen these flames before, and you got to be careful about naming names, and you got to say things like alleged because a lot of these people they will retaliate with a lawsuit.
Yeah, who's going to retaliate with the lawsuit?
Well, some of these entertainers whose names he named out here,
You
if
can't see
they
them. Wait, Shawn, you're muted. Shawn?
Yeah, but a lot of these guys, if he names names like he did, the whole thing is they can say that they were slandered. They can say that he defamed their name. That's why you gotta be careful about what you're saying. But I guess he feels like he has nothing to lose,
No,
so he just came out here and said and named names.
I don't think he has nothing to lose. I don't think he cares.
Yeah, well,
There's no damn. I mean, let me say this: Katt Williams has been in the game for years. Uh, you know how I first came about with this brother was I don't remember the comic view. I remember Money Mike. That's how he broke out. Yeah, everybody talk about Steve. I've heard a lot of negative things about Steve Harvey. I don't know Steve Harvey personally. I don't like talking about people I don't know. But people I know who have been around him have nothing but bad things to say about how he talks to people. Uh, you know, I had a friend who worked at City Hall. When he comes in for the Essence Fest, Steve Harvey, don't say hello, don't talk to nobody, nothing like that. Corey Holcomb talked about how Steve Harvey cut his time when he was opening up for him, never said anything to him. He was actually doing 15 minutes. A few days later on his next show, he was doing 5 because Steve Harvey was getting jealous of how good he was doing. And you know, when they cut your time, they also try and cut your pay. So those are things I've heard stuff about him. Kevin Hart, I've heard he's a good guy overall. He was calling Kevin Hart a plant in the industry. He and Kevin Hart have had beef. I don't know. It's because Hollywood wants the short black man, and he went with Kevin. I don't know what it is, but he was calling Kevin a plant. He went at Sid being a joke thief and said he was gonna pop Sid's belly. You know, some of that stuff goes on, but again, I wasn't there when all of that's happened. And you know, to me, I've seen and look, I've actually gone live. I've seen Kevin Hart. I've seen Katt Williams. Both of those guys rocked. Katt Williams came to the both Katt Williams and Kevin Hart came to the Baton Rouge River Center. And Kevin Hart killed it. Katt Williams killed even more. You know what made him kill it? Kevin Hart did a whole routine. He did his, I think it was his "Let Me Explain" tour. He did his routine from that. And Katt Williams, he had a routine he was doing for HBO, but he also, what made it special was that he made references to Louisiana and about stuff for like 10 minutes and had everybody laughing, talking about the boudin balls. I don't normally put balls in my mouth, but damn, the first thing you offer me is some damn balls when I get off the plane in Baton Rouge. And you Gator, you know, talking about the swamp people and stuff like that. He was just rocking. Everybody was loving it. But yeah, he had a lot to say about Hollywood and the industry and how he wanted to get in this business with a virgin asshole and leave with a virgin asshole. A lot of that goes on in Hollywood. The casting couch applies to men too, Shawn.
yes, it does.
Yeah.
Ask any of the members of the boy bands.
The boy bands.
Yeah, all the boy bands allegedly have participated in some stuff with people in the music industry.
Wait, you don't think the Jackson 5 or anything?
Not the Jackson 5. I'm talking about these voice bands like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys.
What about not New Edition?
Not New Edition, but I'm talking about these white guys.
You talking about like NSYNC and
Yeah,
Backstreet Boys? Yeah.
yeah.
So you got to clarify. So you talking about 90s boy bands?
Yeah.
All right. What about New Kids on the Block?
Don't know about them, but all I know is that a lot of the 90s ones, later 90s, there's a lot of booty boys on there.
All right, let's listen to this. So this is what I'm talking about. This is what Carlos Mencia, who is a known joke thief, and he's a hack. I don't really talk about other people like talking about this shit. But this shit pissed me off that this man said this. I want you to pay attention to what he said. Listen to
Like I remember
hold on.
for the second season of
Oh, hold on. I don't want to. Vlad will give you a copyright strike. Hold on. Even though this is from Twitter. But essentially, what Carlos Mencia said, and this is fair use, by the way, is that he claims he was the best stand-up on Def Comedy Jam back in the 90s. He did a show. And essentially, he said that he was kept off by one of the black producers. Basically, he's saying, I killed this program and they loved it so much, the crowd was in it. And then when I got my chance to get on TV, they stopped me. And he made the remark, well, I'm going to play the audio, but I don't want to play the video because Vlad will put a copyright strike on you. But let's see if you all can hear this.
killed it. Standing ovation. They call me the next day, and the producer goes, listen,
Y'all hear it?
we can't open that can of worms.
Yeah, I
right
can
now.
hear it.
Like I remember for the second season of for the second season of Def Jam, that's what it was. I get a standing ovation. Maverick Flats over there in Crenshaw. Killed it. Standing ovation. They call me the next day, and the producer goes, listen, man, we can't open that can of worms right now. We got a hit show for black people, and every comedian alive wants to be on Def Jam. You are the funniest guy we've had, but if we put you on the show, we're going to open that door, and we just don't want to go there. We don't want to have to answer those questions. We don't have to deal with it for now. It's just going to be black comedians. And I cannot repeat what came out of my mouth. I wasn't angry. Oh, no, it wasn't angry. What was it? It wasn't mean. Well, you got to understand that the person I was speaking to was a friend. And so I said, be real. Be real. I'm not mad, but just tell me the truth. Did I just get treated like a by? Is that what just happened? Because you've been treated like this for a long time, and they wouldn't put you on their shows. And now that you have the power, you doing that shit to me? Is that what's happening here? And he said, yeah, it is. And I said, cool. I'll never mention your name. I'll never talk about this like that. This is the first time I've ever talked about it. And I should have kept my mouth shut. But anyway. Was it Russell Simmons? Okay.
Now that's Vlad interviewing him. Now Carlos Mencia is a known hack. He's a known effing hack. What's funny, Byron? You say, what's so funny? That's funny to you? I don't know what he's talking about, but yeah, I heard Earthquake. Yeah, he was going in on Earthquake. Earthquake was elite, saying on Katt Williams. Yeah, but that's Katt Williams was talking about Earthquake as well. Yeah, but I want to know what you thought about that. But that's Carlos Mencia. I don't know if you ever watched his show, Mind of Mencia. It was on the air for a couple of seasons. It was trying to replace Chappelle, but nothing could replace the great Dave Chappelle and Chappelle show.
Haven't heard of him. Haven't seen him.
You never heard of Carlos Mencia. You never heard of the show Mind of Mencia.
No. Had this guy been any good, he would have been on Jay Leno. And if he was saying that, oh, he had to be on the Black Show, they would have definitely put him on Jay Leno on one of the other shows.
Well, he had his own show for a little while, but the reason why his show never went further was because he actually got exposed for stealing material. For instance, he took from Bill Cosby, he stole his football routine. He stole from Patrice O'Neal. He stole from George Lopez.
Well, that's really a low level.
Yeah, George Lopez actually hemmed him up. Yeah, well, no, he was saying he was the funniest guy on Def Jam, not Comic View, Def Jam. And he said he shot it. Okay, thank you, Byron, for the clarification. But but something I listened, he said he did it over on Crenshaw. I know that's a lie straight up and down because Def Comedy Jam was shot in New York in the 90s. That's a lie straight up and down. And I was a kid when Def Jam came on. I know it was in the 90s in New York because if you listen and watch Def Jam and Bob Sumter, and here's another thing, Shawn, I don't think a guy The guy who created Def Comedy Jam wasn't Russell Simmons. It was developed by a guy by the name of Bob Sumter. Bob Sumter was the one who produced and created Def Jam. Russell Simmons' names is on it because Russell Simmons is the one who, he could sell a show with his name, right? Russell Simmons Def Comedy Jam, Russell Simmons Def Poetry. He owned Def Jam at the time, which was hip hop in the 90s, as you know, was on a hot streak. So they brought in Martin Lawrence to host the show. And Martin Lawrence, originally, FYI, the original host of Def Jam was going to be the late Robin Harris, but Robin died. So I bring all of this stuff up. Number one, they had, and from my recollection, Def Jam had white comedians too. Later on, as the show progressed in the 90s, Rick Voss was one of the first white comedians on Def Jam. So you mean to tell me they would only just do black comics? They didn't put a Latino in? They wouldn't put him in, but he's claiming he walked up. See, that's another thing. He's claiming that he walked up to a producer from Def Jam, and I don't know Carl Sumner, but I know for a fact you didn't run up on Russell. It wasn't Russell Simmons. You couldn't run up on Bob. I'm going to just tell you, I don't believe you ran up on those brothers and would call them a nigger to their face and not get your jaw checked. Not in the 90s. He's saying that was a friend. You wouldn't have called your friend that. And I can't see that happening. I wasn't there, but none of that makes sense. And I can tell you one damn thing. He's talking about, I was on the second season. You honestly think Carlos Mencia was funnier than Bernie Mac? Bill Bellamy, Chris Tucker, Eddie Griffin. Let's do women. Let's stick with women. Some more. Adele Givens, Cheryl Underwood. I know he didn't do that. I wasn't there. I was a little kid when that stuff was gone, but that just to me sounds straight up like a bold-faced freaking lie. None of that makes sense. That's some hack shit. That's all cap. Go ahead, Shawn, if you want to finish.
Well, this whole situation with this guy just sounds like he's lying all around. Again, if you're so big, why didn't you just go on one of the white comedy shows? There were plenty of those in the 90s as well. And if this guy was so good, you would think he, again, would be able to develop a sitcom or something like that. You think he would have been able to elevate his status, but he was known as a joke stealer. So if he's a joke stealer, he's not really credible. So this guy's basically just another clown who wants to get his name out there for the last 0.1 seconds of attention as related to his time in Hollywood. And he's just showing us why he didn't work out as a comedian.
Yeah. This whole thing sucks. But anyway, yeah, it's a lot of cap. Somebody actually has this. Someone tweeted this when they heard the interview. I want y'all to look. A meme of our late brother Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, that's funny. That's all cap. So speaking of black entertainers, Shawn, the old saying from Eddie, I mentioned Eddie Griffin, one of my favorite comedians. He actually said, I need everybody, first off, hit that like, share, and subscribe button, hit that notification bell, ladies and gentlemen. I need everybody to please drop something in the Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle, if you please. It's not begging, but if you love me for my time, then pay me for my time, right? So, Shawn, I got to point out something I wanted to get your opinion on. Jermaine Jackson from last week. Jermaine Jackson and Barry Gordy. Jermaine Jackson is one of those now who's been named in the class of Me Too, where he's been sued under this new law out in California, a look-back window that allows victims of sexual assault who were minors to now sue their alleged molesters. Jermaine is being accused of assaulting one woman who apparently worked for a record company and forcing himself on her. And she's alleged that his father-in-law at that time, Barry Gordy, had assisted in the cover-up. The woman's name, who I have right here, is Rita Barrett. Now, I don't know if you've seen the story, Shawn. I don't think you did a video on it. I just want to know if you knew anything about it. She was the wife of Ben Barrett, who was a business partner of the Motown and friend of Motown record label founder Barry Gordy. I wanted to know what your thoughts are on it, if you saw it or if you know anything.
Well, I haven't seen it, but I have heard about it. But when I listen to this case, it sounds like just another one of these lawsuits that they're making that's related to these look back laws, which are basically a cash grab from insurance companies. Because, like you said before last week, a lot of these lawsuits are being filed because a lot of these women know that these men are not going to be dealing with these cases directly. They will have to deal with the insurance companies. What they want to do is file this lawsuit in an effort to get a settlement from these insurance companies. So this is why they're making these allegations, because they know that this is going to be taken for settlement before it goes to trial. And they know if they make an allegation against the celebrity, they can go out here and negotiate a deal in order to get a settlement. Now, when it comes to this case, I personally do not see where these allegations are ones that can be substantiated, because here's this woman coming out maybe 30, 35 years ago with these allegations saying that Jermaine Jackson did all of this. But if this had been the case, again, this is the 1980s, Jermaine Jackson was never big as Michael. She could have easily filed this police report and gotten a major press as related to this alleged sex crime, and possibly could have taken this case to trial. But what I find to be interesting is that these women never want to take these cases to trial, and they want to go and try these men in the courts of public opinions, but don't want to take these men to criminal court. And I find that to be odd, because if this man is the alleged sexual predator that these women say that he is, you would think that she would want to get this man off the street before he could harm somebody else. But no, they always file in civil court because they, one, do not want to deal with the whole case of perjury in criminal court, and two, they know that in civil court, they're not going to be prosecuted for any sort of lie as related to their crimes. So their goal is to get the insurance companies to pay off, but I don't see this trend going much further, because the insurance companies, they hate to lose money. And when they start to see a trend like this with multiple people filing lawsuits, what they're going to do is two things. One, they're going to go take their lobbies in the Congress and the city councils and make sure that there's never one of these look back laws ever put in place, because it's starting to cost them money. And two, they're going to start taking these cases to trial, because they're going to see that these cash settlements are not beneficial, because all it's doing is incentivizing these women. So this whole trend of women filing these lawsuits may quickly come to an end, because the insurance companies aren't going to pay off. They're going to start taking these cases to trial, where the preponderance of the evidence is going to show that these women's case is suspect. And when I look at this case against Jermaine Jackson, it's no different than the other cases against Diddy, Jamie Foxx, and many others. Bill Cosby, just a cash grab by desperate women who are in bus downtown and waiting for their 5 seconds of fame. They know they have no case whatsoever. They know that their lives are briefs on the spin cycle. The machine is turned off. The attendant is getting ready to look at the machine, find the skid mark draws in there, and get ready to toss them out. And these women know that this is their last chance at making any money. And this is all being handed to them by blue party people. And eventually those people are going to get stopped being able to give these women money, because these insurance companies, again, these are big special interest politicians, people who can influence politicians. And any politician who looks at and supports look back laws is going to be looking back and finding themselves without a career.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, and I got to ask you too, even with Barry Gordy being mentioned, you see Barry Gordy pictured here. What do you think of that? Because it's the same, to me, it's an adage. Do you think this is a case of black men not leaving this earth clean?
That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it look like these black men are bad. Again, they're trying to demonize the name of a dead man, which is par for the course for white supremacy.
Everybody's alive. Man. Not dead.
Oh, he's alive. I thought he was a lot dead. But the whole thing is they want to malign his name, malign the name of someone But again, I put nothing past these feminist indoctrinated women. Again, these women are very greedy. They're looking for, again, that payday, and they're willing to throw anybody under the bus to get one. So I put nothing past these women. I mean, when they are old and desperate like this and they're in bus downtown and nobody cares about them, they'll do anything for attention, even make these unsubstantiated allegations that can easily be debunked because they have no evidence. They'll make these statements in order to try to get that last seconds of fame. And that's what's being done here. They want to make it look like, oh, Berry Gordy covered it up. And I really look at it as just that this is a washed up female who knows that she can't get any more attention. She hears about this trend. And because she hears about this trend, she wants to get that last 0.5 seconds of fame and try to save herself her dying career. And that's what they do. And again, they're looking to get this insurance money. But I see that loophole for the look back laws closing up quickly because insurance companies, as I've said again, are not going to allow this to go on any further.
Yeah. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to leave out on this note, most definitely. Berry Gordy, of course. And I've heard stories about Berry Gordy, but never anything deal. This is something brand new. But Berry Gordy is 94 years old, who is an accomplished songwriter, record label owner, and producer. Man has done it all, right? So now at his 90s, he's going to have to answer. Now, something interesting in the lawsuit, by the way, Shawn, he's not mentioned as a defendant. He's not being sued yet, but they're suing Jermaine. They're suing Jermaine's record label and his production companies. I think the reason she's not suing Berry Gordy is in part, if Berry Gordy had owned Motown still, or if he owned a production company, don't be surprised if they had brought his name up. They'd have brought those names in too. Just saying. So I wanted to leave on this note. Y'all have seen this. So this happened earlier this week in Las Vegas, Nevada. Judge Mary Kay, was handing out a sentence in her courtroom, Nevada courtroom, where she was attacked by a defendant. The defendant, whose name is Deborah DeLon Redden, was being sentenced because in a felony battery case. So he does have prior criminal convictions. He also has a history of mental health issues. So this is what happened. So this is the video. This is the sentencing. Right there is his foster mother in the corner. You can see in this video. I wanted to play this. So this has gone viral. So you can't hear, but that's his attorney speaking.
I appreciate that, but I think it's time that he gets a taste of something else because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court.
What got me is the court reporter, the little guy in the back. I mean, his punches are not having any impact at all. He's got a hold of this punch up the hill. It's like he's trying to beat a can open.
Hey, get off her. Get off her. Oh, man. You're good. You're good. Stop. Don't do this. Hey, where's Mary Kay? Is she okay? Hey. Hey, can you fucking radio somebody? Yeah, give me a car. Fucking radio somebody. Oh, shame, baby. Oh my gosh, dude. This fucking skin's hang. Oh, come on, buddy. Call 911. Hey, where's Mary Kay?
Now, when I look at this, I got a couple of things. Number one, they have somebody in there who has a history of mental health problems. Number two, the judge they were having a peaceful conversation till the judge stated she was going to give him some jail time. Number 3, where the hell is all the security? Is my question.
Stay down. Get on the ground.
No freedom at all. I'll talk about that now. He actually is supposed to appear in the court today, and this happened on Wednesday on new charges. He was bailed on $54,000 bail, and he refused to return to court on today. So a judge rescheduled his next appearance for January 9th. So Williams faces 13 counts, including extortion and coercion with force, and 7 new counts of battery on a protected person, returned to the judge and officer to take their aid.
Hey, my man. Is she okay?
Andrew is okay. One of the deputies assaulted, I think it was this one that he comes here. He actually had to go to the hospital. But watch, I mean, just look at this. So he comes, it's like the Royal Rumble. No, poor security. Yes. Where's the bailiff? Where are the officers? I've been in court all the time. There are at least 2 officers in the courtroom. One standing by the bench. Oh, is he going to jail?
Oh, he's going to jail.
Is he? He's not just going to jail. He's going to prison.
Yep.
How much time he's going to do? This man,
You're looking at a good 5 to 10 years just for assaulting an officer of the court.
it's assault. It's battery on a protected person. It's not just assault. It's battery.
Yeah.
Also has the judge. He also has the officer that he punched. So we're talking about assaulting an officer. That can be a possible felony as well. So battery on an officer. They made that a felony here in Louisiana. John Bell Edwards had signed that in. So, yeah, the marshal was hospitalized for treatment from a gash on his forehead, and he had a dislocated shoulder. So what did you? Yeah. So Shawn, what did you think of this? Guy's got. First thing I said, the guy can fly. Too bad he didn't use. He used his choice for criminal misgivings instead of a career in the WWE. I think he would have been perfect.
I mean, he jumped like he was in a WWF ring off the top rope. I mean, I ain't seen anybody get that kind of air since Michael Jordan. But this whole case is quite troubling. It just shows that this guy really wasn't fit to return to the streets. I mean, if he's acting like this in a court where you have to be at your most best behavior, then he would be a clear and present danger to everyone on the street. And the fact that he was assaulting officers of the court and showing disrespect to a judge, yeah, we're not going to see him for in a very long time. I mean, he's possibly going to be in there with Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles for an extended period of time because now they got him on video in addition to the charges he had before assaulting members of the court. So this guy basically signed his ticket for a long sentence in a penitentiary.
Yeah. Shawn, do you anything else you'd like to say on this? This is I thought, again, the security here was lax.
Yeah, I would have to say the security didn't do their job. I mean, the bailiffs should have had that guy restrained.
Court reporter had more fists.
I mean,
court had more hands.
I mean, for him to get that kind of air in the air like that, I mean, the bailiff should have gotten in front of him or something like that. I mean, I think some bailiffs are going to get reassigned after this, because for a court to get out of control really shows that these guys weren't on their job, because he should have never even been able to get that close to the bench.
No. Usually there's about one bailiff in a courtroom, so it does happen. But sometimes it's two, and I can tell you they have more security walking the hallways. Like when I'm in court, they have bailiffs there all the time. So I don't know. The bailiff looks like the bailiff came from the back. There was one, but
well, here in New York, they're sitting right up front near the judge's desk. So during the judge's bench, they're right there, so that you cannot even get close. The defendant is like a good 6-7 feet away, so he cannot even get close. Because for him to leap like that, I mean,
I wonder if this is the judge that was sipping that smoothie when she sentenced OJ. Remember that?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that the same judge.
I don't know.
And she was sipping a smoothie, which was another thing. It's like she made a decision. She was going to send him to jail. Jackie Glass was the judge. Yeah, that heifer. Yeah, she personally, she was sipping a smoothie while she was doing it. She had made up in her mind she was going to get OJ. I remember that. Yeah, and her show was produced by Nancy Grace. That slick sleaze, that was the woman. Judge Joe Brown talks about her all the time because she was a sick, sleazy woman who never spent the day in court, was trying to say that that man was guilty. I remember this bullshit. Nancy Grace is a thug in woman's clothing. He believed he could fly. He could believe he could touch her eyes. He thought about it every night and day. He spread his wings and he flew anyway. He knows that judge is gonna be sore. He opened up every pore. He believed he could fly. He could fly. All right, we're gonna wrap this one up. Oh, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about this, Shawn. This happened earlier. There was another school shooting out. This time, was it in Dallas, Iowa? There was an Iowa school shooting where a 6th grader was killed and 4 others died from herself and 4 others. And it appears it was a teenage student who acted alone, apparently, and looks like a murder-suicide. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw this. I saw some of it. I'm still doing research on it for a Man Crisis video.
Right. I don't know too much about it, so I don't want to talk obviously about it, but it seems this happened at Perry High School. 1 killed, 5 others injured by Iowa school shooter on the first day after winter break. I don't know too much about it, ladies and gentlemen, but hold on. Let's see. We can play a little bit of the story. And this is coming up right before the Iowa caucuses, so think about that.
And wounded 4 other students along with a school administrator. By the time police located the shooter, they say he was dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It happened early this morning as classes at Perry High School were set to resume today following the holiday break. But thoughts of the new semester quickly turned to thoughts of survival. Students running from the sound of shots, barricading themselves in classrooms, waiting for the horror to end. NBC's Von Hilliard is there tonight with the latest.
Tonight, horror for students on the first day back from winter break. A 6th grader killed and 5 others wounded in a school shooting in Perry, Iowa.
Units, we've got an active shooter situation at Perry High School.
Authorities say the shooting started at approximately 7:37 this morning as students and faculty arrived on campus. Officers arrived within 7 minutes.
We've got reports of multiple subjects injured at this time.
They immediately made entry and witnessed students and faculty either sheltering in place or running from the school.
Law enforcement officials say among the injured, 4 students and 1 school administrator, all being treated at nearby hospitals. The shooter, identified as Dylan Butler, a junior at the high school. Police say he was killed by a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Butler was armed with a pump-action shotgun and a small caliber handgun. Officers located during the search of the school an improvised explosive device.
Friends say Butler was bullied. One friend says he messaged her minutes before the shooting.
He said that he was fine and he was okay, he was all good.
Freshman student Philip Gray believes his friend was shot.
I think he was like close to the school shooter, so I'm guessing he probably got hit and probably tried to run away.
Do you know how your friend is doing?
I'm praying that he's okay.
A devastating tragedy hitting this small, tight-knit community.
And Vaughn joins us in the Perry High School. Vaughn, what's the status of the investigation right now?
Lester, multiple law enforcement agencies are on the ground here in Iowa, including the FBI, investigating the potential motive of this shooter. Well, the students at this school of nearly 700 just wait for the word on the conditions of their classmates.
Once again today, the U.S. was drawn into hostilities involving Iranian-backed militias in the Middle East, attacking a target in Iraq while the showdown in the Red Sea is growing. Keir Simmons.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about what happened in Iowa. I don't know all the facts and details other than what's reported. Obviously, there's going to be more stuff, but we'll monitor that for more information. It's messed up. Shawn, if you want to have a last word, have anything to say, you're welcome.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to wait to do more research for my man crisis video. I really don't want to say anything until I get all the details that's related to the story.
If you wanted to say anything, like you want to do a plug-in.
All right. Well, the SJS Direct 2024 catalog is getting ready to start, and you can pick up the first book of the you can start put in the pre-order for the first SJS Direct 2024 book on Kindle, John Haynes Illuminati, right now by heading over to Amazon.com.
All right. So head over to Amazon.com, ladies and gentlemen, and help out, buy some of Shawn's books. Ladies and gentlemen, Byron B. says, and so it begins. Yeah, they're going to advocate. Gun laws are not going to, changing the gun laws aren't going to change this, guys. I'm pro Second Amendment. You can kill somebody with, like, damn Timothy McVeigh and blow up a building with fertilizer, ammonium nitrate, supposedly, and do that. It's not hard. But I think that, could this be something tied into that? Possibly. We'll monitor it. At any rate, Shawn, thank you for tuning in. It's a pleasure as always. And
thank you for having me.
Happy New Year again.
Happy New Year.
And this has been concludes our broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if you would like to contribute to the Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle, please hit up that ticker at the bottom, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Y'all be one, be blessed, and be safe, guys. I'm out of here. It's been a great broadcast having Shawn on our show. And I want to thank you all for tuning in. All right. Peace, family. Be one, be safe, and be blessed. I'll holla. Peace. He said the press release earlier today said the shooter was a senior. I don't know. A man crisis. All right. Well, I'll see you guys. It's been a great broadcast. All right. Love y'all.